What's up, everybody? I'm Metal Nick.
I'm Jeff Grunstoffer.
And welcome to episode 9 of Vinyl Bang, where today we have our second guest ever. He is the drummer of bands like King's Blood, Scum Guilt, and See You Next Tuesday, Mr. James Watson. James.
All right, James Watson.
Damn, you dug deep for King's Blood, man. That's been done for like, God, 10 years.
Oh yeah, you actually sent me some vinyl of that back. I bought some records.
Oh yeah, I did.
I do have some 7 inches there.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah. When me and Jeff were asked to do this show by J.R. Hayes, you were one of the very first people I thought of having a guest, and I'm not lying when I say that because through Instagram and Facebook, I've seen you have some really fucking amazing records in your collection, and to the point where I'm very jealous of some of them, much like Jeff and his collection. I look at your stuff and I'm like, God damn, man, like, God damn, this is amazing. Oh my God, I can't believe he has that. So I'm very honored to have you on our show. Like I guess said, like Jeff's got a very crazy collection, and it's great to have another guy, a guest on the show that's gonna show off his stuff with us. So thank you very much for being here, bud.
Absolutely, I'm very, very honored. And your guys' first guest was awesome. It was nice seeing Adam Jarvis talk about, what makes him tick and what made him tick as a kid, to get him where he is today. But yeah, I'm stoked to talk about some fucking sick ass records.
Yeah. Now for this episode, like on the last episode, whenever we had Adam Jarvis on, Adam just basically talked about his collection. This time around, we're kind of giving being that James is our second guest, we're kind of figuring this out as we go, but we've decided to let James pick some topics, and we're all going to contribute with our own collections as well as James, and we're just going to kind of go back and forth and tell stories. And
hell yeah, this is going to be awesome. This is a great idea, James. I'm glad we're going to do this all together. So
absolutely.
Yeah. You want to kick things off, buddy?
Yeah, sure. So one of the topics that I chose was I wanted to do a top 3 of your most collected artists that you have in your collection. Some people like to VC things. I'm one of those people for one band in particular, and that band is Primitive Man.
Yeah.
Yes.
I literally have all but 2 LPs for every release they've ever done, every variant, all but 2. I'm just missing 2. But I wanted to show off. This is actually what, this is what started it all. This is Scorn. This was actually originally released on Throat Ruiner Records and not Relapse, if I'm correct. I know the first vinyl pressing is this one. And as you can see, there's some differences like in the color. I'm trying to get in the frame here. This one on top is the Throat Ruiner. It's just on a standard black. This one is the Relapse Clear, much like Jeff had shown the other day in one of the other episodes. But, the back's a little bit different.
Oh, cool.
But, and then I was lucky enough to have a friend stop into Sit and Spin in Philadelphia, and they had a ton of Relapse stuff and a lot of rare Relapse stuff, and he was able to snag me this test press of Scorn, which I was very, very, very thankful and
hell yeah,
stoked to get that. So thanks a lot, Safi, if you're watching. Safi, you rule, buddy. But this is my number 1 most collected artist that I have. I think 60 some LPs total.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's great.
Wow.
That's great, man.
Wow. Now my first question about this is which 2 pressings are you missing?
Yeah.
Actually there are 2 that are just pretty easy to find. I just haven't picked them up yet, but it's for the latest release, the Full of Hell collab. they did a total of 12 pressings for that, and it's the orange, clear orange ish splatter. It's one of those like retail ones, and then there's a blue one that I'm missing as well. I think it's a splatter as well, but
Right on.
they seem to be easily obtainable on Discogs. So
Right on.
All right.
Okay. Right on. That's cool.
Jeff?
All right. So as far as the three most collected bands, the three artists that I have the largest collections for, I'm going to add to my my punch card of this particular band to see if I can't get all of their albums mentioned in throughout the episodes. I'm going to go with Cattle Decapitation, Humanure.
yes.
This album was the initial album that got me into Cattle Decapitation back whenever I used to go to record stores and pick up albums just based on the album cover, because I mean that is just that just screams, hey, listen to me.
Yeah.
You have to hear what I'm about. Like, I've never heard Cattle Decapitation before this. Anyway, this particular pressing, there was a defect of some sort. I never knew the exact story about what caused the defect or whatever in this particular pressing, but there was 100 and I don't want to get this wrong. I got to bring my notes back up. There was 102 pressings of this album where there was a defect of some sort that caused the first disc to be on a root beer color vinyl. I don't know again what the defect was, but the second disc, it's a 2-color variant. The first is root beer, which is just, a fun family, everybody likes root beer. And the second pressing is called the Pepto-Bismol puke color.
Yeah.
Which is not family friendly, which kind of goes, follows the theme of the cow shitting humans on the front.
That's
This pressing took a little bit to find. I didn't get it right off the bat. The first one I had was the standard pink pressing that is easily found. A few years ago, it's been a while, while browsing on eBay, I had actually found, and this is just a flex, this isn't my second choice or anything, I found a test press.
Ooh, nice.
Or Humanure from Deep Six Records. That's another thing. This album was pressed by Deep Six.
Oh, fuck yeah.
The
Shout out
first
to Bob.
Human Jerky and Homivore were released on 31G, and Humanure was released on Deep Six before they signed to Metal Blade. And this is an actual, I know you can't see it because my camera sucks at zooming in, but yeah, that is an actual Deep Six pressing of Humanure.
You found that on eBay, you said?
Yes.
Nice. We're regular variant twins on that record.
Is that right?
Yes, we are.
Nice. Do you have the other one?
The test press?
No. The other, the pink.
Yeah, mine's root beer and the Pepto-Bismol color.
Gotcha. Right on.
I had a buddy part ways with a bunch of records, and that was one I picked up because I love that record a lot. It's I had a fun little fact. Back in the day, Cattle Decapitation was auditioning drummers, and I actually sent them a tryout video of me playing a song from that record.
Is that right?
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't hear back, sadly, but shit happens.
Don't take it personal.
It's all right.
Their loss.
I don't know. Dave's fucking way sick.
Oh, Dave, yeah. Dave's my boy. Love you, Dave.
For sure. Yeah, he's a great dude. All righty. So for mine, probably my most collected out of my collection is probably Weekend Nachos, as most people would know. They broke up back in well, they announced they're breaking up in early 2016. I guess their final show was like early 2017, I think. But yeah, after a couple years ago, back in like 2021, I started seeing these like pop up all over Instagram, and I was just like, what the hell? And basically, I reached out to the singer of Weekend Nachos, and I asked him what was up with it, and he said a friend made it and put it out, and it was a friends and family thing only. And I was like, gotcha. I didn't beg or anything. And then he hits me back and he said, reach out to this guy. I sent this guy a friend request and a message, and then he hits me back and sends it to me for free. It's Weekend Nachos Song About Tattoos. It's
Nice.
a 5-inch lath cut. There's 50 copies made.
Whoa, that's sick.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So if you're familiar with what this cover is, Sex Prisoner, Tanner House Gate, that's what that came from. So like,
Yeah, you did that the other episode.
yeah, I did this recently. This basically got put out, and I promised the guy I wouldn't put his business out there because he didn't want to be people hitting him up. But I think if you look it up on Discogs, you'll see it. But basically, this there are 50 copies. I think some went to the guys in Sex Prisoner, the rest went to Weekend Nachos, and then friends of Weekend Nachos. And John went to bat for me, and then the guy who made these, like, he sent me one for free of charge. And like, this is not anything that ever went on sale. It was just a very rare item that, long after the band was broken up, it became, it went out there. So I already have a lot of shit. There's like a couple, like you guys, there's a couple things I'm missing from my collection, but like to add something like that, I was like, oh my God, like it is a very rare thing. A handful of people have it. And
that's so cool.
I was lucky enough to be one of them.
Yeah, that's rad.
Yeah.
It's like an ultimate relapse clear, like family,
pretty much,
Yeah.
It pretty much, it's like I said, it's a cool thing to have. Like I was very honored to be part of let in on that, because there are people that I follow who on Instagram who or a lot of power violence stuff, and they were having it. And I didn't want to ask anybody. I really didn't. And then once the singer started talking about it, I was like, I had to ask him. I was like, where did these come from? Like, because I have everything. How did I miss this? And like, good shit.
Oh yeah,
That's awesome, dude.
very cool.
Shout out to John from Weekend Nachos.
Yeah, that nacho shaped vinyl that you showed the other day was so sick.
That's a cool one. That was like a must-have when I started collecting it, and I got it not too long into collecting it. There's a few other ones that I have that I'm going to bring up at some point. If I do an episode all about my collection, like I got some really nice deep cut ones of them in there, but like that one, a lot of people will hit me up for.
That's right.
So, yeah.
So my turn now?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
sweet. I'm going to artist number 2 of my most collected in my collection, and that would be Isis. I chose Panopticon because this is actually the first Isis record that I ever heard and absolutely fell in love with the band. Over the last probably 4 years, like before COVID, or right before COVID, I really started just hoarding. Like anything I saw for a decent price, I picked it up. This one actually is a original pressing from Trust No One Records, and it actually came from Aaron Turner's personal collection.
Whoa.
Which is super cool.
Nice.
I cannot remember how many there are of this specific variant, but it is one is pressed on the AB side, has a clear, just straight clear, and then the C and D is clear with black smoke. It's got some black streaks in it.
Cool.
Right on.
I know the story behind how that happens.
Yeah, it's actually kind of neat. I think some of these are like technically called transition pieces.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes they don't clean the boomers also, and it just causes little like. I have a couple relapse clears like that.
Yeah, it's really neat to get something like that, and to piggyback off of the talk about Primitive Man, I actually have one of theirs that's they called it the transition piece as well, and there was like only maybe a handful, and I was able to get one of those. But this album means a lot to me. I have, including the box set for ISIS, the Signs of the Swarm box set. That is my 11th copy of Panopticon.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
It's such a monumental record in my opinion, and for my life. But when Sumac came through and did their first tour of the United States, they played with my old band, and I had asked Aaron, would you mind signing a couple of records for me? And he was like, no, absolutely. Yeah. And so the only copy of Panopticon that I had at the time, I had him sign. It's up here on the shelf, but I had him sign a handful of things, and he was very, very nice about it. And some people don't want to do that, and I get it, and I don't pressure them. And he was just like, "Yeah, dude," and signed like 4 or 5 of my records, which was really awesome. But yeah, it was fun to talk to him about, back in those days and stuff like that. So
sure.
That's why I picked them as number 2.
The only ISIS story I got really is back in 2006, somebody gave me a free ticket to see Tool when 10,000 Days had come out, and they were opening for them. And I remember walking in, and they were like, I think I caught maybe the last like 2 minutes of their set, and then Tool came on. But I have a lot of friends over the years that always talked about that band, and for some reason I just never gave them a shot. So like, I never gave them a fair shot, I should say.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I am very fully aware of who they are, and then when Sumac became a thing, like people were like, "How did you not listen to this band?" And like,
but, it happens. I admittedly have never seen ISIS live ever.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate.
Yeah, my only connection to ISIS with the Aaron Turner being in Sumac, I've filmed them. I filmed Nick Yakishin a couple of times. That guy, the last time I filmed Nick, my clamped GoPro that I've put on various drum stands and whatever on the kit, he knocked it off. He played so hard that my fell off of his kit. Like it's never happened.
Wow.
Such a heavy hitter. Like
Nick's a powerhouse, man.
Yeah, he is. He's a great guy and very awesome drummer.
Shout out to him because he's an awesome dude.
Yes, he is. Shout out to Nick Jackson for sure. All right. My second choice for most collected artists. I am doing this solely because of in the Clear episode, I forgot to mention this particular album because it's hanging up in a frame right there. It's hanging up. I know you can't see it, but it's there. I'm not moving my camera again. So I am going to bust out a rare pressing of this album. This is Cephalic Carnage Lucid Interval Test Press.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yes.
A test press of Lucid Interval. I got this, I believe through Discogs. The guy that I bought it from had 2 copies. So I bought both copies. I kept one for myself, and I gave the other one to Steve Goldberg.
Oh, rad.
He did not have a copy of Lucid Interval on Test Press at the time, and we are now BFFs.
That rules.
Yeah. I just he was telling and Steve and I are friends. We've been friends for several years, and he was telling me that he didn't have any test presses of Cephalic's albums, and so whenever I had the opportunity to buy 2 copies, I gave him one because he absolutely deserved.
Oh yeah. To
have a test press of one of the greatest grindcore albums ever made. But yeah, this album means a lot. The band means a lot. Love these guys. All of them are good friends of mine. And this album is just, this is a prized possession right here. This has been on the table once just so I could say that I heard the test press for Lucid Interval. But after that, it's been put up. And actually, once I'm done talking about it, it's going to go back in the jacket and back on the shelf because this doesn't get out very often. But yeah.
That's so rad.
Thanks.
Oh, man. I've got a fucking terrible story to tell here real quick. Go ahead, James.
I'm twins with Grindstoffer on the Lucid Interval test press. I'm so happy to be in great company, man.
That's awesome.
So, a couple years ago, there was I guess on eBay, Relapse Records was selling a lot of test presses. Like I snagged like what was supposed to be, it said second test press of Remission, but I met a guy in a group on Facebook who ran a Mastodon blog of all the pressings of their vinyl, and it turned out to be like a 5th or 6th pressing. But through a couple like eBay auctions, I ended up winning a test press of Lucid Interval as well. This was maybe back in like 2016, 2017, I can't remember. But and then a couple months ago, Steve Goldberg hit me up and was like, Steve Goldberg of Cephalic Carnage hit me up and said, "Hey, I got something for you. Give me your address." And I get this fucking package in the mail. He sent me another copy of that album, so now I have 2. But I love that album. I've spun it a couple times just like Jeff. Just don't want to be able to hear the original like approval of like, this is good. Let's fucking press this on vinyl. But that album's never been repressed.
No.
I think I bought the red one off of you, James. Right?
Yep, long ago.
Yeah, because I was trying to get my little collection going there, and I think I have everything now. But I love that album. That's a great, like Jeff said, that's a great fucking record. I mean, like,
it is.
I saw them live. I passed up on that band for many years, and then I saw them live in 06, I think it was, and I was just fucking blown away. I came home and I filmed their set, and Jeff helped me identify all these songs, and like, I went to the record store and bought Lucid Interval on CD, and just wow,
you were blown away.
What a fuck! I mean, I remember a friend playing it for me years ago, and I just was like, I made some stupid comment like it sounds like Nile or something like that, and that band does not sound like Nile at all. I just was, I don't know if I was in a bad mood, but like that band is fucking great. Those dudes in that band are great. I love that band to death. But yeah, moving on.
Band I haven't seen in live ever, and I would
really
love to.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, they're a big deal.
They're a fun one, man. They are a fun one. Okay, moving on. My second most collected is a band that I talked about for the first time in this last episode, which again, if most people know me, like it's shocking that I don't talk about this band enough, but it is a Beastie Boys album. It's called The In Sound from Way Out.
That's sick.
And all. This is a collection of songs that they wrote and performed from the Check Your Head and Ill Communication albums, with the exception of like Live at PJ's and Time for Living and Sabotage, the punk songs and all that stuff. They're not on here. These are like more of like the jazzy songs, but this is a first pressing of this. It's a colored vinyl.
Oh yeah, love that.
Grand Royal Records.
Oh yeah.
But here's the greatest about it. This is a limited. This is pressed out of numbered out of 5,000. I don't know if you can see it there. Oh man, come on.
Sort of see. What does that say? 16?
16.
Sick. I love that it looks like a record that came out in the late 60s.
So this is the album artwork is like a ripoff of like some jazz, not a ripoff, but a tribute to some jazz band that I believe that they were fans of. On the back, it's got that old man photo of them. But
from like the Sounds of Science.
Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, 16. There's a group on Facebook called the Beastie Boys Collection, and there's a gentleman on there who runs a website called the Beastie Mania, and then there was another gentleman that he can link me up with that had like a whole bunch of like the low number copies sealed of this, and I bought one off of him. I've met a lot of great people on Facebook that I've gotten like really rare vinyl from, and this is like one of the really rare ones out of my Beastie Boys collection, because I do got some really like rare, like, how did you get your hands on that type of stuff? But, this one was, like I said, it's number 16 of 5,000. Like, getting such a low number was it's insane. This guy I think he had 16 through 19.
Oh wow!
And yeah, I got it, and it was sealed. I had to pop this fucker up so I didn't warp it, because that's a thing. But
Yeah.
I didn't want to remove this little sticker off the back. I left it on there. I think it looks like it's actually on the record itself, so I could probably remove this film from it. But yeah, I didn't really. This is a cool record. It was released in '96 on Grand Royal, yellow transparent. This was between Ill Communication and Hello Nasty, just like a release they did. I think they also put out a punk album in '98.
Did they happen to ever release a vinyl release of The Sounds of Science?
Yes,
Or is it?
Yes, the greatest hits thing. So there's copies out there that are numbered, actually, and
Wow.
yeah. So like it comes in like a book, like a giant book vinyl, and somewhere like in like the first couple pages it'll be stamped like this, but it's like a stamp, so it's like numbered like that way. But they are out there. Like if you go to beastiemania.com, the gentleman who runs it, like he sells a lot of stuff on eBay or just stuff out of his collection. But like, if you have a numbered record, you can register it on that website, and it's pretty cool. So this record, if you look this record up, you'll see that I am number 16 of 5,000.
That's sweet, because I remember getting that CD, and I actually wondered recently if they'd ever done that. So I'm glad to know that. I will keep my eye out for it.
Yeah, look for it. I mean, it's on Discogs. I'm sure like eBay, somebody has it. But if you're looking, man, I can link you up with some people who probably have it, that they can, sling it out to you, because there's, like I said, it's numbered.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
I love me some Beastie Boys, man.
Yeah. Wow. What a fucking group. Like I can't go. I don't want to like take up anybody's time about how awesome that band is, but like I went to go visit Jeff, and I didn't press him once to listen to them.
You do what?
I went to go visit Jeff a couple months ago. I didn't press him once to listen to Beastie Boys.
I actually made him listen to Beastie Boys. You remember that cover? The guy that I found, I don't even remember what genre of music it was, like the folk singer who covered "So What You Want."
Yeah, that's right.
Remember that when I picked up from the airport? Like, I made him listen to Beastie Boys.
Nick, you got to listen to this now. What are you doing?
We listened to a lot of Faith No More, I remember.
Faith No More. That's right. You're welcome.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
No, there wasn't. Not at all. Jeff was actually showing me that Faith No More sampled the Beastie Boys.
Yep.
I did not know that.
Ooh.
What song was it again, Jeff?
Yeah, what was that?
Midlife Crisis. In Midlife Crisis, they sampled Car Thief.
Car Thief.
Oh, yeah.
Which is my
that break with like the yeah.
Yeah, that's Beastie Boys.
That's right.
All right, James, you're up.
All right, guys. My third and last in the top 3 most collected is a band that I admittedly am way late to the game with, and it saddened me to know that. But the first record I ever had from them was actually a split with the Hearst Collective, and it was an album of all Nirvana covers. And it was the only record of theirs that I had up until last year. And then I literally bought every single record that they have. Basically, I am missing a couple 7s that are kind of hard to find, but I have every 12-inch that they ever put out. But they are from New Orleans. Thou.
Oh yeah.
This record in particular was one of the more difficult releases to find from them. This is called Through the Empires of Eternal Void, and it was only pressed to 300 copies just on a standard black, but it is an album that is all Sabbath covers.
Oh, wow.
And if anybody, is aware, they know the caliber of a cover that these dudes can do, or they can do. And it's just incredible. They crush every cover I've ever heard. They've done Cranberries, Soundgarden, Black Sabbath. I mean, almost you name it, all the Nirvana covers. They just put out their Nirvana covers record on vinyl for the very first time. It's 2 LP. But yeah, this was very, very hard to find. It's only been pressed one time, but very, very happy to finally have it in my collection. It was a pretty penny, and I don't want to talk about it, but it definitely was worth every penny that I paid for it.
Hell yeah.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Val, but they're really incredible.
I've dabbled actually around the time that that they did the Nirvana cover thing. Champ Morgan was like shoving it down my throat. He was like, "You need to listen to this band. You like Nirvana. You need to listen to Thou covering Nirvana." And I'm like, "Okay, dude. Like, Jesus."
Great Champ Morgan impression, by the way.
Thanks.
Oh.
Champ Morgan. Love Champ. Shout out Champ. Love you.
Shout out to Champ. Yeah. I know nothing of this band other than Blake Harrison. Always, every time this band comes to town, he goes and checks them out because he's close friends with those guys. So I really don't know much about them. Like another band I don't ever give a chance to because I'm a total poser.
Nah, dude.
But
I'll send you some links of some good stuff.
Okay.
We'll get you hip.
I appreciate that.
Good luck.
All right, Jeff.
All right. So for my third collective band that I try to collect their complete discography, which will never happen with this band. I mean, it is humanly impossible to own everything that this band has ever done. I try to get as much as I can from this band, but I mean, I could work like 5 jobs, and never sleep and just spend all my money and eat bread and never have everything these guys have ever done. Melvins.
Ooh, yeah.
The Melvins. This is an 1989 OG pressing from Boner Records. This is definitely one of my absolute favorite. I don't know if you can see. I don't even know if it even says on there Boner Records, but it is. It's the BR. Yep, BR 16. And plus, I just like saying Boner Records. It's fun.
Yeah.
But this is, aside from the fact that it's an OG press, which just like James, costs a pretty penny. Don't want to talk about it because my wife's listening in the other room. But yeah, this is my favorite Melvins album. I mean, without a doubt, my favorite Melvins album, just because it is just so good from beginning to end. It's their early days. It's their second album. The first was Gloomy Porch Treatments. Just such a good record. Aside from the OG press that I tracked down back in I forget, it was 17 or 18, whenever Melvins were doing the Pincus Abortion Technician Tour. I traveled to Dallas to film Dale Crover for Sick Drummer Magazine. That was the 6th or 7th time that I've filmed Dale, and 99% of the time whenever I go to film Dale, they make arrangements to where I can meet up at the venue at like 4:00. and get there way before doors. And, you know, it's always, oh, twist my arm. Ow, ow. Okay. Yeah. I can get to the Melvin show super early and hang out with the band. And, you know, it's hard to beat. It really is. So whenever I get to the Melvin shows early, I always get first dibs at merch. I always get first dibs at records and posters and all that shit. And I got a limited to 69 pressing of a Mackie letterpress. I got this. They repressed Ozma that year, I believe. But yeah, they had like 3 of these at the show, and I got number 17 of 69.
Fuck yeah.
That's
signed by Buzz, along with a shirt and a poster, and I think I bought another record, I think, actually, while I was at the show. But I just wanted to highlight this because this is, I mean, I've got like 12 or 13 different letterpress albums that Mackie's done over the years, but this is one of my favorites, just because Ozma is just my absolute favorite Melvins record. So
it's
either one of y'all got
Dale
that?
is a crusher. I don't got that.
Just kidding.
I admittedly don't know much Melvins, so if you could maybe send me a couple of things to check out.
Start off with this.
For sure.
Start with Ozma. It does not get any better. From there, once you get well versed in Ozma, then I got all kinds of recommendations. But this, I highly suggest to start off.
Sweet. Yeah, I really enjoy Dale. I love watching any type of drum cam of him playing. I also loved that he played with Phantomas for was like a New Year's Eve DVD.
Yeah.
The director's cut, something or other.
Yeah, the Millennium Monster Works.
Oh yeah.
That was what was that? Okay. So for the DVD, that was the Phantomas Melvins big band, where it was like,
oh, okay.
It was Lombardo and Dale, but I mean, still, that's just yeah, that's a fun DVD.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What you got, Nick?
All right, so for this next one, I'm gonna need Jeff's help because for lack of sounding like an idiot on the internet here, I don't know how to pronounce the album. And Jeff,
that is the Anthropocene Extinction.
There you go. By Cattle Decapitation, and this is the 7 billion parts per million colored vinyl. I don't know if you could see. This is
Yep.
Ooh.
185 of 200, but I'm going to do something pretty awesome here. This is sealed, and I'm going to open this on the air here. So,
oh shit! Here we go.
Yeah, this was awesome. This is a first.
Yeah, I owned another copy of this record. I pre-ordered it when this album came out, but it had come all bent, and so I was pissed off by that, and I ordered another copy just to have another copy. And yeah, I recently parted ways with the other one because I need shelf space, and I'm gonna remove that in a little bit, but
if this is the one I think it is, I'm insanely jealous.
This isn't that one, the Trash Explosion. That one's really cool looking. This one, I don't know if you could see all the little
that's sick as fuck
in there.
Yeah.
So it's 7 billion parts per million is what the name of the vinyl is. And this is just I'm in love with how fucking awesome this one is. There was another one, I think, what's it called, Jeff? Trash Explosion?
Yeah, the Trash Explosion, where it's just like every color ever.
Yeah, pretty much. This album was fucking incredible. When this came out, I remember just being like, wow, man, like this band has just been like on a whole new fucking level of awesome. And just their sound just kept getting better and better throughout each record. But
yeah,
one thing that meant a lot to me was this was the first record that they thanked me in there. And you know, I've known Travis for a couple of years, not as long as Jeff, I guess. I knew other guys in this band who are no longer in the band, but you know, like there were people that I knew for a while, and it meant a lot to me to get thanked in a record. But this album was just so fucking cool, and to get this particular pressing, I thought was just amazing to have. I've got so many fucking memories of this band and just this the songs on this record alone. I mean, Pacific Rim, that fucking song, man. Like they I remember hearing that being like, man, there's no way they can write a better song than that. And then Death Atlas came out and just they always outdo themselves somehow. I don't know how, but like this record just is, it's like I guess a continuation of what came before this, Monolith.
Yeah.
And then after that was Death Atlas, and then we just got Terracite. And if you look through the pictures, like the pictures of Travis, the way he dies in all these, it's like a pattern. But yeah, this band is an amazing live band. They're good pals of mine. I love this fucking record so much. It was a good one to add to my collection. But I love this particular pressing that the sparkles in there. I don't know if you could see the detail of those sparkles in there. My camera's not that
dude.
good, but
No, absolutely. Yeah, you can see it real well, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, there you go. I cracked a first time ever. Popped
That's
this
awesome.
out of its sleeve. Yeah. Well, I learned a long time ago you don't want to keep things sealed because they tend to warp the vinyl. So like,
I have
Sorry, Jeff.
I have some country records that were kind of expensive to get because they were sealed.
Yeah.
I was like, I should open this right now.
That Beastie Boys that I just showed you, that was sealed when I got it. And I just was like, and it's from 1996. So like, I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going to keep this thing fucking like, I don't want to, it had to have been warped at that point. I don't know what kind of room it was kept in, but like, I just had to assume,
That's super rad that it was like on, not to say like they weren't doing colored vinyl then, because they totally were, but it's super cool. I didn't realize that it was that old.
Uh-huh.
Like I thought it was some kind of newer pressing that they did.
No, I have a L Communication on transparent green. In '94 they were doing it back then. So I mean, it's good to know that I didn't know color vinyl was a thing either until I started collecting. I was just, as soon as I started seeing splatter, my mind was like blown. I was like,
yeah,
wow.
I was the same way because one of my favorite album of all time ever is Super Unknown from Soundgarden, and I actually have an original pressing of it, and it's on orange vinyl.
Okay.
Right on.
So and I was like, I had no clue. Like I was thinking like, okay, I see it's on vinyl, but I figured it was just like standard black, and then Discogs, obviously lists everything. They had a translucent blue, a translucent orange, and a clear along with black. So I was like, I need that orange right now.
It's
Shout out to my wife for
that,
getting that for me.
Even Soundgarden was in the game back then. I mean, that's fucking great. And then in the 90s, I don't know if vinyl was that big. CDs were like, I collected CDs. I might have still been collecting tapes at that point, but
yeah,
it's good to know, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. So the next
What's
subject.
next?
I believe next is the hardest acquisition, right?
Yes.
Hardest acquisition. Yes. So I had a lot to choose from.
Just real quick before you get started, the hardest acquisition, just to clarify for anybody that isn't following this topic, it is the hardest record that you've had, or the hardest pressing that took the most effort to get.
Yeah.
Hardest acquisition.
Yep. This was something that I had been after for quite a while. A friend of mine, you know who you are, to help me get things that I am truly, truly after, managed to scour the internet and found someone, I believe in the Netherlands, to part ways with this. And it didn't cost as much as I thought it would, but it was still a pretty penny. But the rarity and coolness of this item is just astounding. And it took me a couple of years to get one. But it is by a band called Infernal Coil. and the album is called Within a World Forgotten. And it came inside this wooden handmade box.
Wow.
Holy shit.
The detail on this is just absolutely insane. The guitarist of this band was in a band that I used to play with back in the old days. Blake, I don't know if you're watching or will watch this, but I love you, brother. This is Blake's band. Blake was in a band called Me and Him Call It Us way back in the early 2000s in the MySpace grindy days. He was also in a band called Dead in the Dirt that you guys may be familiar with. But he's in Infernal Coil, and this was out of 49 handmade by the band, and just this just is just incredible. But this one just so happens to be number one.
What?
Out of 49.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah.
Just absolutely insane. It came with a bunch of shit. Like it came with the record. The record was inside. It had twine holding it shut that I still have. There's 5 or 6 pressings of this record, which I do own all of, and this one came with a bunch of stuff. It has this patch. I believe this one that came with it was either clear or it was like a green and yellowish merge. I cannot remember. I will actually take a quick look just to. Yes, clear.
Nice.
Much like a relapse clear. But this came with that patch. It came with hand wrapped plant thing rolled up in this cloth that I just will not bring myself to unravel. It came with some seeds to plant. Dude,
wow.
It's so much, and some more bonus things that I can't bring myself to open this. So getting that was like huge. Like, this band is so good, death metal at its finest. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them or not, but I would love to get you hip.
For sure.
Infernal Coil. That was my hardest acquisition.
Yeah, I'm beyond intrigued by. I mean, okay, you had me at the box, and now we're getting into twine and plants and seeds and shit. Like I'm all about this band. I want to hear Infernal Coil. On a side note, real quick though, you mentioned Me and Him Call It Us. I actually just listened to them last week.
Oh, for real?
The C Drive of Love Songs. Yeah, it's been a while since I've heard that, but yeah.
Which one was it?
The C Drive of Love Songs, I believe it's called.
Oh yeah.
C Drive of Love Stories. Sorry, the C Drive of Love Stories. Yeah, they were. You mentioned MySpace, and they were one of the bands that I discovered through MySpace, and I came across them. They were like a suggested band from somebody else I was listening to on Spotify. And I'm like, oh my god, Me and Him Call It Us. I haven't listened to them since like early 2000s, so I jammed that on the way home from work the other day. It was a fun trip down memory lane. Me and Him Call It Us.
Look at this, really random. I just peeled that sticker off real fast.
He got it.
How pro is that? How pro is that? And I'm about to here.
He wasn't even listening. He was peeling stickers.
No, I wasn't. I just slapped it back on the sleeve. So boom.
That's awesome. Good for you, Nick. Good job, Nick.
That's how much
the Me and Him called us.
Nice. Yes, it is.
This was one of the Wax Vessel releases from one of the very first, I think, within like the first 15, I think, releases that they ever did. That's like a collection of pretty much everything,
Nice.
I believe. And
Nice.
that's yeah. You'll love Infernal Coil. I really think that you'll dig it. Their releases are just insane. Like they hand make half their stuff, and it's very. I'm missing two things from the collection, but hopefully I'll find them one of these days.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm gonna add them to a Spotify playlist right now. That way, I will have it to remember later on down the road. Awesome. All right.
Sorry to go on a tangent.
No. You're good.
All
You're
good.
We all do it. Okay, so my next or my hardest acquisition is this album was part of a 2018 Artists in Residence box set. This album was included with like 10 or 12 other albums from Rob Crow. He released a box set in 2018 for Joyful Noise Records, where he was their artist in residence. And the only way to get this album was to buy this box set. And the box set was limited to 475 boxes, 475 pieces. And I am a fan of Rob Crow. I've dabbled in his work over the years, but there was a lot of stuff in there that I didn't know, I'm unfamiliar with. And I only wanted this one album. So my hardest acquisition was I got on Discogs and found different people who had this in their collection. I would just randomly message people and say, hey, if you ever decide to pick apart this box set and sell these albums individually, I would like to buy the Anal Trump first 100 songs red pressing. The Joyful Noise had released this album on a green pressing that was available to the public, but the only way to get the red pressing was in the Joyful Noise residence and or artist in residence box set. And this took a long time to figure out. I think I started around the time that it was released, and I wound up getting this in 2021. It took 3 years for me to track down somebody that was willing to pick apart their box set to sell me this one individual album. And I never kept up with the guy. I never followed up with him to see if he ever sold the other ones. I got my record, and that's all I wanted. I wanted this because this album means a lot to me. This 11-minute, 100 song thing is just it is so beautiful. I love this album. Besides the fact that in every Vinyl Bang episode, I have that hanging up in the background, the actual print sheet, the actual print sheet that the very first 7-inch was printed on, given to me by Travis Ryan, signed by Rob Trump and Travis Trump. That album, this band means a lot to me, and I had to try my absolute hardest to find the red pressing, and I did.
That's so rad.
That is by far the hardest vinyl I've ever attempted to buy, and I was successful.
To have someone, be willing to pick apart a box set is one thing.
Oh, I know.
But like that's a big accomplishment, my friend.
I know. I couldn't believe it happened. Whenever he finally said, "Yeah, I'll sell you that record," I was like,
"Yeah,
holy shit!" Awesome.
That's so rad, dude.
That's so awesome.
I remember that coming out, and I just gave up on trying to collect everything from them because I was like, "Man, I'm not paying for that box set just to get that one record."
Right.
And I knew a girl who bought it because she was a big Rob Crow fan, and I asked, and she was like, "I'm not breaking any of this up." And I was like, "I got you." But people people will break up box sets. There's a Beastie Boys Paul's Boutique 7-inch like demos box set that's out there, and I've seen I gave Jeff one of them. I have come across them randomly in record stores every now and then. So like, I was like, why would you break this up? They're like numbered 2, I think. So
Yeah.
it's weird. All right. So my pick for this one, this was a giant head scratcher for me, to be honest, because I went back and forth on this one because there were like, I thought about doing some test presses that I just like luckily came across, but that wouldn't be going down the whole of like, this was a hard acquisition, but like there's a lot of them. I mean, there's things that, you know, like I'll swallow my pride and buy and pay a lot of money for on Discogs, but that, you know, those aren't like hard acquisitions. And, you know, it's just like being willing to fucking be a sucker and pay, you know, more than you should for a record that it's not worth it. But, the one that I chose was a record that when I pre-ordered this album, I don't know how I found out. It might have been from that group that James, you and I met on Facebook. There was some like metal vinyl group that I was on that I eventually like left. But there was I guess somebody announced that that this album was going up for pre-orders on vinyl, and it wasn't on vinyl yet. But I want to say it took a little under shy of 2 years for me to get this because they kept rejecting the test presses, and then I think other things were delaying the pressing of it. But it's Frederick Thordendal's Special Defects. I'm not going to read the title of the album, but you can see it right there. There were 2 different pressings of this. So okay, this album was originally released in 1997 by Nuclear Blast. And if you don't know who Frederick Thordendal is, he's the guitarist for the band Meshuggah.
Okay.
He's
I didn't know.
Okay. He is the guitarist for Meshuggah. At this point, when I discovered this CD, it was maybe like 2000, 2001-ish. Somebody had told me that this was a thing, and I checked it out, and it's not anything like Meshuggah. I mean, it's like a little bit more death metal-y at times, but it's very like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like an extreme metal like Steve Vai album. There's jazzy stuff, there's like preachy stuff, there's like skits and weird stuff like that. But like this in 2016, oh man, Husaria Records put this out, and there were 2 different pressings. 500 on black lacquer cut with high-end matte finish, and then 500 on DMM cut with glossy finish. I bought both copies just to have them because, like, you know, this album it's like a solo project of a very, very brilliant guitarist, and it took a very fucking long time for me to get this. I was pretty angry, actually. I know there's sometimes that there's shit happens, and you know, there's some records right now that I've been waiting on that were supposed to come in January, but I know shit happens. But this guy was the guy who ran this label. Like, it was, I don't know. I just felt it was pretty unprofessional. Like, we waited and waited and waited. And I want to say it was shy of 2 years of me placing this order before I finally got them in the mail. But yeah, if you haven't heard this album, check it out. It's really hard to describe. It's got the jazzy, like, groovy beats that Meshuggah has, but it's way more extreme, and like I said, it reminds me a little bit of like a more extreme version of the Passion and Warfare by Steve Vai, if you ever heard that record.
I have not, but
Yeah.
that sounds all very interesting. I like the way that looks too. It's like, is it like a gatefold opening?
Oh yeah. Hold on here. Let me.
Oh, that's rad. Yeah. I like that.
Pretty cool layout. I mean,
Is it 3 LPs or 2?
2.
Oh, nice.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Now it's 1.
No, it's 29 tracks on here. But yeah, it's just packaging is pretty sweet. I don't know. There's a lot of different musicians on here. I know Thomas Hawk, the drummer of Meshuggah, does some vocals on a track on here, but yeah,
That's cool.
I remember for the longest time I thought this was on Relapse, but it was not. Relapse never had nothing to do with this. This was a Nuclear Blast thing, and then I think a bunch of other like random labels put it out, like in Japan or like the Netherlands. Like there's always these weird indie labels that get their hands on like the licensing to do stuff like that. So it's been repressed a bunch of times on CD, but like once on vinyl, really. And like I think they say there were like 5 test presses out there and like 5 rejected test presses out there, but like
Okay.
I'd never want to buy anything from this record label ever again.
I'm with you.
That's what made it my hardest acquisition. I waited so long, and I was like, I'm usually a patient guy. Anybody who knows me, I am a very patient guy, but that fucking sucked.
I'm in the same boat with a label called Tentacle Industries, I believe. I've been waiting for
Candiria.
a repress. What's that?
They do Candiria, right?
I'm not sure. I actually had never heard of them until they had some mock-ups for the reissues of Obscura by Gorguts and From Wisdom to Hate, and
Okay.
I ordered both. And I have been waiting for, I think, over 2 years now.
Yeah, I know exactly what
you're. They've had some correspondence online because people are pissed. They're like, this is a long ass time, and they've had like radio silence, and it's just been nothing. But hopefully one of these days I'll get an email saying it's shipped, or one day it'll just be on the porch.
I could be wrong. I'll look into it in a minute, but I think they put out Candiria's 300% density on vinyl. But I'll look into that in a minute. But
yeah. All right, what's next?
Yeah, what is the next topic? That's you're up, James.
Soundtrack.
Oh, soundtrack scores.
Soundtracks.
All right. So this was one that I wanted to basically, because everyone loves movies, films, whatever you want to call it. And I know that most vinyl collectors have some cool scores in their collection, and I wanted to show off a couple of really rad ones, but I wanted to go with Ennio Morricone's The Thing.
Hell yeah.
This was pressed by Waxworks, and this actually, I have not opened this yet, and I'm not going to be ballsy like you, Nick, and open this television. Live internet television, but it's a awesome slipcase that pulls apart like the doctor's chest from The Thing, and it clamps down. The reason I didn't open it is because I have another really rad box set of the same thing, pretty much, but it's this one is mixed with this thing called The Lost Cues by John Carpenter. And it was released in split with Waxworks and Sacred Bones, and it's got this really cool slipcase to it. This is The Thing, Lost Cues. It's just got a couple of tracks on it. I think there's 4. 4 tracks. It's a cool gatefold. Shows the ice where The Thing once was.
That's fucking killer, man. That's different artwork.
Yeah. And then it has this really awesome.
Oh wow! Look at that. Yeah.
Blue splatter.
Oh man.
Yeah, I forget what that's called. It had something to do with the Arctic or something. Arctic
yes.
freeze or something.
Think
I
of
forgot what it was.
I didn't do my homework as well as Nick did, but this is the actual. This is what's inside the box set I just showed. It's a really awesome matte finish around the sides, but that center part of the sleeve there is glossy, which looks super sick. But here's the back, and this has this artwork on the inside, which is super sick.
Yeah.
And then this one is they have a couple of different versions of it, but this one,
Okay. Oh yeah, nice. The blood work one.
yeah, the petri dish splatter.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, this is one of my favorite films ever. As you
Best
can-
fucking horror movie ever. Yeah.
I will 100% agree with you on that. But this actually took a little bit to get. I didn't realize and wasn't so hip into knowing everything about waxwork at the time, and then I just happened to come across it one day and was like, oh, I really need to get that in my life, and managed to find one on eBay for a pretty decent price. And this is
Alright.
actually the second pressing of this one, and I'm really glad that they repressed that.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, Jeff and James, I'll do you one for, since you didn't want to open yours. I'll open mine on for you. This is what it looks
Oh,
like.
yeah.
It comes out. I even kept mine in a sleeve to be safe with it. But and look,
Oh, I love that.
sticker on it and everything. But here, real fast, I'll do the, so I don't take up any of Jeff's time here. But
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. That's so sick.
yeah, I mean, like, I think like I found out about waxwork because of like that blood-filled Friday the 13th vinyl, and
Yep.
I went and inquired, and like as soon as I went to their website, they were like, this Friday, and I love this fucking artwork. This shit fucking rules. But like,
Yeah.
as soon as I saw that, I hopped on. I bought both of the first pressings, but I had to open this thing. Like, this thing is just never. I don't own anything with such cool packaging like this.
Yeah.
And it's great that you got all those different pressings, man. That looked fucking killer.
Thanks for
That was awesome.
Yeah.
I was looking up
All
on Discogs
It's
because
time for Jeff to fucking stomp on our collections because he's got something so fucking sick, and I'm dying to see him show this off. I really am. This thing is awesome.
Just real quick, my Fang box set, which is like out of shot right there. It's a different pressing. I'm not going to go get it because
I just wanted to open mine because he didn't want to
Sure.
open his. But if the
No.
viewers wanted to see what it looked like, that's what it looked like.
No, absolutely,
Yeah.
and that is cool. The breakaway thing, that's
Yeah.
rad for sure. But anyway, as far as movies and films and whatever you call them, I prefer musicals. I like musical musicals. And this is actually getting a 25th anniversary showing on June 26th at 7 p.m. I will be in the theater watching the 25th anniversary of Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. I am so excited for this movie to be back in theaters again because one of the greatest movies of all time.
Oh my
One
God,
of the
yes.
absolute greatest movies of all time. I have this movie memorized. I love this movie so much. The soundtrack for Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, I don't know if you can tell on camera because of the screen, the glare.
No, you can see it moving.
But it's lenticular. It moves. All the characters move and everything, and just this is a phenomenal addition to my collection. This was released in 2019 on Record Store Day. It was the 20th anniversary deluxe edition of the soundtrack. There were 5,000 copies made of this pressing. The first 2,500 were pressed on red and orange vinyl to indicate Cartman and Kenny. And the second half, the 2501 to 5000, were green and blue. I had forgotten at the time that they had done two different versions of this, and I only have the one for now. But I will get the second pressing. I will get one of the other numbered pressings to get the complete collection. This is number 1373 out of 5,000. One of the coolest things about this collection, about this setup, is behind Kenny. Whenever you pull him down,
Fuck
you get the
yes.
Harrison Phillips Uncle Fucka music
That's
video.
sick.
Yeah, it is. It is just so awesome. This package is just so incredible. The vinyl itself, I've never listened to it. I mean, I've listened to the soundtrack numerous times, whether through the movie or on Spotify or YouTube or whatever. But the Violent Femmes version of "I Swear It, I Can Change" is it's awesome. It is absolutely awesome to hear the Femmes play the Saddam Hussein "I Swear It, I Can Change." It is just so good. But yeah, this is my contribution. One of the coolest soundtracks I own, and I've got a majority of Matt and Trey's soundtracks. Got Orgasmo, I've got Cannibal the musical, I've got Mr. Hanky's Christmas classics, and just all of majority of them anyway. But yeah, that's my baby.
That's super sick.
Yeah.
Is the other one pretty pricey to obtain, or is it just something that you just haven't pulled the trigger on?
I just haven't pulled the trigger. My wife's listening. It's not bad. I mean, like when I showed this to Nick before we started recording, he asked me what I paid for it. I think it was like $40 or $50 for it retail, the day it was released. I think I don't remember exactly what I paid for it, but now it's like double, 100, 120, whatever for something. But yeah, I will own this one of these days. Mark my words, I will have the complete collection.
That's sick.
I have fond memories of being 19, seeing that movie in the theater, drunk off my ass, and like being upset that it's starting off that it was a musical, but then just loving it. And like that part where they did Uncle Fucker, and at the very end where he's just like, suck my balls. Like I like fell out of my seat laughing. Like I was such an immature little 19-year-old punk ass kid. And if I was an adult in the theater seeing some little kid like that, I would have kicked my own ass. But that movie was great. Every song in that fucking movie was awesome. When they did that South Park 25th anniversary thing in
at Red Rocks.
At Red Rocks, and they opened up with the light version of Uncle Fucker. Like I was like, these dudes are fucking awesome. Like they're just. South Park is one of my favorite shows. Like I got a tattoo on my leg of it. Like when Jeff and I became friends and we just discovered I could talk idiot with him about that show. I mean, like I one time said something to him, was like, all right, call me when you get back to the flippity floppity floop. He knew exactly what I was saying. So,
Vinyl Bang, and I guess we can go ahead and say this.
Yes, go ahead, talk about it.
Okay,
how about this? So, moments before we hit record for the first episode, I was like, Jeff, we're such big South Park fans. We should make this show maybe something South Park related. And in my head, I was thinking like Vinyl plus one, like Faith plus one, and then Jeff.
No,
what did you say?
No. Okay. To start from the beginning, we've been talking about this for months. We've been talking about doing this podcast, talking about records since like June. Seriously, for like 6 or 7 months, we've been, we need to do this. We need to do this. We need to do this. And we never did it. We kept putting it off. And we're going to do this next week. We're going to do it next month. And this is how we're going to do it. And this, that, the other. 5 minutes before we hit record.
Yeah.
Literally 5 minutes before we hit record on the first episode, Nick said, we need to call this something. We need to do something South Park oriented because of our infatuation for South Park. And I had just watched Finger Bang. I had literally just watched the Finger Bang episode, and I said Vinyl Bang.
I fucking bust out laughing when he said that.
8 months after we've been talking about it.
There was no fucking discussion after that.
None.
Like I was like, great. Jeff,
Vinyl Bang you back into my life, baby.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Vinyl bang you every night. That's right. Yes.
I mean, there's so much about that episode. That was like the first episode where Randy Marsh started to become like a highlighted idiot like Homer Simpson. We can do a full fucking episode about our love for South Park. We really could. But I'm glad you told that story because that is the truth behind Vinyl Bang, actually.
I was curious.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Sure a lot of people are.
We're not like perverted old men, trust me.
What the hell is Vinyl Bang? Who the hell is Moop?
It's not that we're like a bunch of perverted old men. It was just a South Park thing, and I'm glad we cleared that up.
Finger Bang reference. That's where Vinyl Bang came from.
All right. So my soundtrack, it's gonna be fucking nothing compared to what you guys just brought to the table, because I kind of told you guys a funny story about me getting this record. I'll tell it again. Well, this was a soundtrack for me. Like when I started collecting vinyl, I always wanted, when I started thinking about soundtracks, this was a soundtrack that I remember being a big fan of when this movie came out. It's not a great movie. Most people, if people remember it, they'll be like, "What the fuck?" But it's called CB4. It was a parody of like what hip hop was at the time. It had Chris Rock, Charlie Murphy, Alan Payne, Phil Hartman, Chris Elliott. Quite a few hip hop artists made cameos in this movie as well. But it was a movie about these dudes who were doing cover shows, and then they eventually turned into like a gangster hip hop group, but they were fake as shit, and they were a little NWA-ish with mixed with other stuff. But I remember as a kid going to the record store, and I had my heart set on getting this on cassette tape, and I walked in there, and for the first time ever, I saw Nirvana in Utero on the shelves, and I was just like, "What? Nirvana has another album?" Because I didn't have cable at the time, I didn't know shit about shit. But I bought this instead of In Utero. It's a crazy fucking story, I know, but because I figured if I go back next week and buy an In Utero, and I go back next week to find this might be gone. But this album, it's cool. It's got a lot of so like the hip hop group who is CB4, they do a couple original songs on here, like "Sweat of My Balls," "Straight Out of Low Cash," which is like straight out of Compton, and a Rapper's Delight cover. This is all Chris Rock doing these vocals, and a couple of these, and Alan Payne, and I don't remember the other gentleman's name, but it's got Hurricane from Beastie Boys, the Fushnikins, PM Dawn, MC Ren, Public Enemy,
Wow.
Boogie Productions, which is basically what's his name, KRS-One. But it's a funny ass movie. Like I said, it's a parody film of like what gangster hip hop was, and I do have a lot of good soundtracks. I've got some of those waxwork things, some really nice waxwork things. But this record, like it was an old movie that came out, and it's actually sealed still. I got to open it at some point so it doesn't warp up. But
Oh, you're bending your own rules.
I know. What a piece of shit I am. I'm a hypocrite. This album, I don't know. I just remember as a kid having it on cassette tape, and I loved it. I listened to it so much. There were some good songs in here. Like I said, Black Cop by Boogie Down Productions, which is KRS-One. That was a really catchy song. I like that one a lot. The original tracks that they do, the Straight Out of Low Cash and Sweat of My Balls, those were funny ass songs, and it was a hilarious movie. If you ever see it on like HBO Max or something, watch it. It's like, if you're a fan of those parody films, but there's nothing special about this. This is a standard record that you probably could have found in a Waxy Maxis or a Sam Goody back in the day. But I enjoyed that movie a lot. It was something that like I said, I was going back and forth because I even had like Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, and I bought that strictly because there was the Megadeth song on there. There's like Primus, there's Steve Vai,
Faith No More.
But I bought that because of that Megadeth song. It was my favorite Megadeth song. But I chose to go with this record because it was a fun time for me as a kid. I used to rent it all the time. It was a funny ass movie.
That's awesome. My cousin, who's 11 years older than me, she definitely was playing a lot of hip hop around her young cousin, who probably should not have been listening to that at the time. Mm-hmm. But I know that I think she liked that movie quite a bit. But
it was a good movie. Yeah.
I'm glad that you chose that because it's tells a part of you, like part of your past. But I think my most important question right now is, please tell me that you have a copy of In Utero on vinyl.
I do.
Okay.
I do. Yeah. I
good question.
A couple years ago they released one that had like Sappy and I Hate Myself and I Want to Die. And I remember seeing Jeff had like a copy. I think Jeff's got one that's got like a black cover, and I was just like, wow, that looks cool. But I saw this one, which I think is like practically the same version, but I do own that. I remember years ago, Greg from the Red Chord gave me a Steve Albini mix of that album, and there was just like small things in every song that were different from like the original mix that you hear on but that, you know, a lot of people will tell me that's their favorite Nirvana album, and I don't blame you. That's there's some really cool deep cuts on there. That's a hard argument. Jeff and I were talking about this the other night, actually, on First Albums, but yeah, I do own it. That is a great record. That album kind of depresses me a lot because I remember as a kid being a big Nirvana fan, and when that news came out, it struck me hard, you know. And when you go back and listen to those songs and his lyrics, you know, like especially at a young age, he was very impressionable, and it hurt me to know that this guy that I looked up to so hard, like, you know, it's questionable whether he killed himself or not, but all signs pointed to yes. But you know, it hurt a lot, and I remember listening to that album a lot, being really sad. But it is a great fucking record, no doubt. I'm not gonna.
It's a sad record for sure. And I remember when I was a kid, I had it on cassette tape. I actually bought it. I didn't buy CB4. I bought the cassette of In Utero. I did. I bought that. I can't remember where I bought it or how I got it, but I had it, and I was in class in elementary school, and it fell out of my backpack. Some kid had bumped in to like where we put all of our backpacks and coats and stuff outside of our class, and he came in and he goes, "Somebody's tape, Nirvana, In Utero, rate me, what?" It was so funny just listening to this kid try to say Nirvana and Nirvana In Utero, and oh god, third grade was something.
Fuck yeah, man.
Fuck yeah, man.
Fuck yeah. All right, so I think we're on our last one now.
We are, and the
Correct.
topic is.
The topic is. Go ahead, Jeff.
Most insane variant.
Most insane variant. All right.
Most insane variant. This one was kind of I had three listed as you know, some three to choose from. But it's a little bit it has to do with the band that I currently play for, which is See You Next Tuesday. This is the member copy of God Awful Sonic History. This was pressed by Wax Vessel, and it is limited. I want to say 5 is what the internet says, but I think there's probably maybe 7 or so. This is a compilation of their first EP they ever did, called This Was a Tragedy. And then the Summer Sampler EP that really got See You Next Tuesday on the map and got them out and touring, and people started to pay attention to what they were doing. And eventually this EP helped get them signed to Ferret Records, which they were on for a few years. And then after they disbanded and got back together in 2015, played some shows, and then now we're signed to Good Fight Records, which is Carl from Ferret and Rick.
Oh, no shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's I'm new to the family, so you know, all of it has been a lot of new stuff, getting to know them, which has been super cool. They've been awesome for us, and it just feels like home. And all the things from the past, from Ferret and stuff, you know, the guys had all sorts of glowing reviews to say, like, you know, this is where we should be. So when our album Distractions came out last year in February, and we announced that we were on Good Fight, it was just like, you know, this is where we need to be. But this was pressed by Wax Vessel. I chose it because this variant is absolutely fucking bonkers. Like I said, there's 5 or 7 of these in the entire world, and this took a lot of weight to get. I got this in a trade, but
Holy shit.
this
Yeah.
is
That's
the
awesome.
most. Thank you. This is the most absolute fucking crazy thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it is.
It's a one-sided LP, so this is the actual playable side, and then this is the non-playable side,
Oh, wow.
which looks, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, for
But
sure. Man.
Took some weight to pull this out of the hands of someone, and I'm very, very happy to have it in my collection, and happy to be part of the history of this band now. I'm leaving my footprint now. Andy, their old drummer, fantastic dude. His shoes were not easy to fill, so I'm glad to be here. And I got his blessing for when I joined, and he was like, "I'm glad it's you." So it's been a lot of fun to play with this band, and I'm happy to be part of that history now and putting my own stamp on it. So
Oh, yeah.
Rad, man.
I chose that as my most insane variant.
That's got to be a good feeling too. That when how a record at least comes out that your name is on. Like I think it's the other one, right? You're on.
So Distractions came out last year, and all of that is actually programmed drums, and I joined the band 2 weeks after they had sent that off for mastering.
Oh, wow.
So if they had more time to wait, I probably could have learned everything and eventually recorded, but we would have been an entire year behind.
Sure.
Gotcha.
Sure.
So I'm actually on the most recent album, Relapses. It's actually a remix record of Distractions. We found 12 different artists to do a remix of each song from Distractions, and we chose 2 from Distractions that were actually cyber grind songs, and we turned them into actual grind songs. So my debut to the band were those 2 tracks, and then there's a track that opens the record that's a very, very Ion Dissonance heavy breakdown thing that we do, which was also me. So there's 3 total songs that I play on, which is
Killer.
Right
super
on.
cool. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I have one question about the live shows and moving forward or whatever. Do you guys play Baby? You make me wish I had 3 hands.
The intro to the album.
No. No, that I was just looking it up because again, that was a band from back in MySpace days, and I no, before I die, I'm gonna fuck me a fish.
We sure do, buddy.
Awesome, yes.
Actually, we're going to be playing it when you come see us live. That is our finale song. That's our last song that we do.
Good.
That's got to be a Mr. Show reference.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
We play a fun little sample before we kick that song off.
Randy Blythe once told me that. I was like, that was the funniest thing he's ever heard in his life. And I was like, I knew exactly what he's talking about. I was like, when they're on the boat and he's got the mullet and he's like, yes. And I was like, oh my God.
St. Peter, look out for me. Hell yeah. Let me in. Yeah, dude. We play that song. It's the last song that we play, and we have that little sample happen right before.
That's great.
Before we kick it off.
That's great.
Yeah. All right. So moving on. For my most insane variant, I don't really tell anybody that I'm a fan of this band, but since I figured we were going to go with insane variant, I'm going to go with Riddle Box from Insane Clown Posse because it is an insane variant. Nobody. That didn't go over near as well as what I thought it would. Well, wouldn't that be fucked up if I brought out Insane Clown Posse for an insane variant?
Jeff, I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't.
Crickets. God, I haven't listened to Insane Clown Posse since I was like 12. So anyway, my most insane variant that I own is once again from the duo of Rob and Travis Trump. This is the Make America Say Merry Christmas Again Christmas Snowflake. That was it came from Joyful Noise Records. The only way that you could get one of these awesome custom made snowflakes was if you were one of the top donators. They had a donation thing for I do not even remember what the donations were for, and I've tried looking it up. I even tried looking it up just now in between segments while you all were talking. I could not find what these donations were for. But anyway, the top 50 donations got a snowflake copy of Make America Say Merry Christmas Again. And this is absolutely one of the coolest records I own. It's never been played. I have everything Anal Trump's ever done. Everything, every pressing, every test press, everything they've ever done. And this is just the coolest looking record that I own. And so it had to be showcased since I don't own any Insane Clown Posse records, Nick. So it had to be it had to be my Insane record.
I don't own any either.
Is it just one song or is it multiple?
No, it's the entire EP. It's the entire. I don't even remember how many songs are on this thing. 10 songs that last all of 17 seconds.
That rules.
But yeah, I mean, you can see the cut.
Yeah,
there's 10 tracks on this thing.
that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean it's the entire EP. Takes all of 17 seconds to listen to it, but yeah.
I remember, I was delivering pizzas at the time, and I had to pull over so I could place the pre-order for that because I had to get my hands on that one. And he said, it was the top 50 people who donated. So you had to name your price basically, and the top 50 people would get that snowflake thing. And I remember just months passing and never getting it. And I reached out to Travis and said something because I was like, I was like, what's the deal is? He's like, no, but I can tell you, like, you didn't make the cut. You didn't donate enough money to get one of those snowflake ones. And I was like, really? I was like, oh man, that sucks. And he's like, Jeff is though. And he's like, I was like, how much did he donate? And he goes, he only donated $20. I was like, 20? I donated 60. I was like, what the fuck? And then he like sends me like this little like grin face emoji. Travis loves to fuck with me about shit like that. He did not have an ETA for it. And I want to say a week after I sent him that message, I got it in the mail, and it came with this really funny ass, like, have you ever waited for something for a really long time and forgot about it? And then one day you're like, what the fuck? Where is this? And it was like this, and it was like, boom, here it is. And like, I saved that whole little thing that it came in. It was like on a cardboard. So I kept it in the sleeve, but I did get one of those. I have it back there somewhere. I think me and Jeff discussed when you gave us this list of like what we were going to choose. I talked about that, but then I was like, Jeff's got more of a connection to that band than I probably do. So like, if he wanted to talk about it, I was going to let him do that. But that's a great one. They had a lot of fucking awesome releases. I think one cool thing, like you were saying, that you have everything. Travis would hit you and me up personally and tell us about like cool things. Like there was a limited number of blue ones that they fucked up in the pressing, so they had some smoke in there, and I think there were like maybe 5 of them. And Jeff and I got our hands on a couple of those. So like Travis was like, "Hey, I got this. Do you need it?" And we're like, "Yes." So I think I have almost everything but that red vinyl, and I think there was like a 3-inch that came out. But I was a big fan of that whole thing. I thought it was funny, like I'm not for or against Trump, but like I'm sick of people talking about him. But that whole thing made me laugh a lot when that came out. I thought it was a great project, and it was only a 4-year deal because once he was out of office, they ended it. But that's some good shit. That project. Those song titles are absolutely a fucking riot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted more. I wanted more Anal Trump, and whenever he got out of office, they said they were shutting down the project. Damn it!
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted more Anal Trump.
All right. So my last
one.
My last one that I'm going to contribute here is another record that I pre-ordered, and I want to say, well, not this variant, the original pressings. I remember it was a long wait for these to come out. But the gentleman who does this, he's a big time vinyl guy on Instagram, and I'd love to get him on the show one day, actually. But it is Iron Dissonance. Breathing is Irrelevant.
Yes.
This is an album that a friend of mine who was actually at the time playing drums in the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza, he was their second drummer, told me about this band while he was out living out in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He told me about this band, and I mean, this album's fucking insane. It's so just, if you're like a fan of Meshuggah, I don't know. It came out in 2003 on Willow Tip Records. In 2022, Total Dissonance Worship released this on vinyl for the first time. It was a long wait. It was almost a year, I believe. I got, I don't know if this is a repress of it or what. But the title is .357 hand poured. This is number 7 of 14.
Whoa.
Let me whip this bad boy out here because this one's
Yo, that's sick as fuck.
yeah, like
Yeah,
I
awesome. Damn.
Dude.
When this is one of those records when the pre-orders went up, I remember throwing he didn't do like a wax mage. He did some like really rare ones. And I threw that and another one in my basket. And when I went to check out, it said items in your cart are not available because we're sold out. And that's happened to me quite a few times when I've ordered records. And I was furious, like I hate that when you like hit refresh 1,000 times, you get, set your alarm on your phone just so you know that you're not going to miss this pre-order. And then shit like that happens. I know that's the name of the game and that's how it works. But like I've been this close with so many stuff. At some point he re-released some rare shit. I think some test presses, but he pressed this one and I was able to, get my hands on it. I'm waiting. He pressed Solace for I think the second time that's been being pressed on vinyl, because when it originally came out, it was pressed on vinyl, but by Abacus Records. But I'm waiting on that, and then I can't remember the one after that. He's got 2 Iron Dissonance, the second and the third one, currently waiting to be pressed and shipped out. But what's the guy's name? Simon Sludge is his name.
Yeah, Simon.
What a fucking guy. I mean, he's got one hell of a record collection. I think he claims his guitar collection's a little bit more insane, but that guy, he used to do the December vinyl worship challenges. I mean, he didn't do it this past year. I think, life happens, but that
he's
guy,
a cool dude.
Oh, absolutely, man. I love looking through his stuff that he posts. He's got a lot of rare shit. I would love to get him on our show one day, because he's one of those record collectors that, he's got some gems in his shit from what I've seen. So
I hit him up all the time and talk to him. We've been trying to figure out a way, because now that we're See You Next Tuesdays, like really doing stuff again, and people have been wanting us to come to, their area, and it's just really hard because we are adults and have grown-up jobs with very limited time off. But he had mentioned to me, he goes, I would love to do a Nightmare and See You Next Tuesday tour. And I just think if somehow we could manage to do like a week on the West Coast with Nightmare and See You Next Tuesday, that would be an awesome, tour package. Absolutely. I don't know if you're familiar with his band Nightmare, but check them out.
I've heard them a couple times. The singer John is an old friend of mine. He used to sing for a band called Dehumanized and Successful Right Apocalypse Across the Sky. John has got some awesome fucking vocals. John is a badass dude. He's an old friend from back in the day. I haven't seen him in a couple years, but I know he does vocals in that band.
What was Successful Right Apocalypse Across the Sky?
Remember them?
I know their drummer, or one of their drummers, Pete Rock.
Okay,
a good friend of mine. He was in Successful Right Apocalypse Across the Sky.
Oh, rad!
Oh yeah,
yeah. That band rips. The Wax Vessel had put out the first EP that they did, and then they had another record label. I think maybe it was part of Nuclear Blast, maybe, that put out the other one that they have out, which has songs from that EP that was originally on DeBello Records. But yeah, John's vocals are fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And all the Nightmare stuff, especially this new record, I mean, that it's just so killer. So killer. Sorry.
Shout out to John Collette and
Yes.
Simon Sludge.
The boys.
Fuck yeah. Well, thank you very much, James, for being our second guest ever. This was a fun episode. I loved how you chose these topics and asked Jeff and I to be a part of it, because this was a different from our first guest. And I had a blast. I don't know about you, Jeff, but I had a good time tonight.
No, it was fun. It was fun for sure. I liked interacting and, you know, having somebody else to interact with the collection with, and yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. I'm glad that you guys were open to the idea, and I've been watching since the first episode, and I really love that you guys are doing this.
Appreciate
JR, thank you for pushing these guys into doing this, because these two dudes have insane record collections, and I've always wanted to know more. So I'm really looking forward to more episodes that you guys do, and you know,
Well, thanks,
just
man.
honored to be asked to do it myself. So I really appreciate
it, man. And we'll
You've
definitely
been one of our biggest supporters since day one. So I mean, it's
Yes.
an honor to have you on. It really is.
for sure.
Yeah,
We'll definitely get you on for some future episodes, because we would love to have you back and do some more stuff like this. This was a fun one. The topics were great. You know, there were some head scratchers there, but like, you know, I was blown away by some of the stuff that you were showing us, and Jeff, you know, Jeff never ceases to amaze me with what he's got in his collection. So this was a great one. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, James, once again, for being our second guest ever, and appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
So yeah. See you guys.